Welcome to episode 6 of Fermented Thoughts. So we're taking a little bit of alcohol and have a lot of conversation. And today we're doing some more R&B, some more music. If you can tell by the hoodie, of course, see, I got grudges. This is, of course, going to be Kiana Lede's album. We're going to talk about her new album, Cut Ties, which dropped on November 1st. Yeah, last Friday. Our beverage of today, we got a little classic, we got a little OG. Mix this Passoa, Liqueur, Devil's Reverse here. So we're gonna mix those two. It's Friday. It's Friday right now, and we're gonna enjoy this Friday. Hope you have your beverage ready, of course, if you're of age. Let's sit back and drink. Let's talk about this Kiana.
Just to get my mind right. You got what you wanted and went about your life, but you still be hitting me every time the mood strikes.
Now, I personally first heard of Kiana today from her album Kiki. This first song I heard was Mad at Me, and I love the way she flowed with the Outcast So Fresh So Clean sample, so that made me dig into that album. And I just remember liking it front to back. I love Chocolate with Ari Lennox. That was another banger. Her song with Lucky Day, Forfeit, I also liked. So once I heard those couple of tracks and I liked the album as a whole, that definitely got me on her radar because I'm always looking for new R&B. Fast forward to 2023, her album Grudges came out, and I really liked that album as well. Gone with Bryson Tiller, standout track for me. Same Type, another standout track. Jealous with LMA, standout track. Her performance was amazing, by the way, on that tour, the Grudges tour. It was amazing, her singing live and the experience those lyrics with her in person. It was really a great experience, along with the crowds who everybody was into. And that's the thing I really like about Kiana today. I think most people really like is while her like singing may not like blow you away, but her songwriting is, I think, one of the best when it comes to female or R&B in general from this new generation of artists. Just the way how personal she gets and how vulnerable she is in her songs, I think really just makes her, it makes you want to listen to her. It makes you feel more and more connected to her story that she's trying to tell. And so it's, especially with the album on Grudges, I mean, just the way she would just, get so vulnerable and personable. And then hearing that live and then hearing the story behind some of those songs as well just made me appreciate that album a whole lot more. Now, before we talk about the actual music within the album, let's talk about the length. It is 11 tracks, 29 minutes. This is a quick album. It's in and out, which I think it's for better or for worse in this case, but I think that does open it up for more listeners that might not want to be so daunted with the task of listening to an hour and a half album. You don't need 15 songs, 20 songs, hour and a half album. You can get that same message across in a shorter amount of time. And if you can do that, go for it. Especially if it just makes everything more cohesive. You don't want to have your album bloated. But I actually do think this album could have been a little bit longer. I think in order to tell the story and get the message across even more effectively, I think she could have used a couple more tracks maybe, but I'll get to more of that in a second. So let's talk about the album and the music itself. This album with Cut Ties, to me, it does deliver on the theme of cutting ties, so A+ to her. I think the songs in this album definitely kind of reflect that whole theme, following up from grudges, having those grudges, and you just gotta let them go. This is definitely an album if you fresh out a breakup or something, or you reminiscing on past relationships, you can definitely go through this album and it's got some points that'll resonate with you somehow, some way. The first half of the album, I think, kind of deals with that internal struggle, which is why you have songs like Natural, which is kind of describing how easy coming this love is between her and a partner. Then you go to songs right after that you can't remember. It's not a lovey-dovey song like Natural is. It's kind of more of a breakup song in a way. I think the first half of this album kind of follows that trend where it's like lovey-dovey song here, then like kind of a breakup song there, a lovey-dovey song here. So like the first couple of tracks is like this back and forth, which that isn't that internal struggle that I was referring to earlier. But then the latter half of the album, all the tracks are pretty much cut ties tracks. From the title track, Space and Pussy, which I think is one of the standout tracks for me. The Truth, Too Many Strings, where I think this kind of cut ties theme kind of continues through the rest of the project. So the half is just straight cut ties and kind of just bundles everything. Just like, so this is straight just break up, delete contact music right here. With this project being so short, this is what I was referring to earlier. I really think it could have been maybe a slightly or a tad bit longer. I think in order to help drive home the theme of cut ties here, I think, and I really wish you would include like a couple of skits here, a couple of intermissions, a couple of interludes to kind of bring everything together as a whole. The songs kind of do that, but I think the songs more so work on an individual level, at least in the first half of the project. That theme is consistent throughout the last 5-6 tracks, but that first half, I really feel like some intermissions and some interludes could have really been thrown in there to kind of help drive that story home. Like the first half, she could have had maybe a skit or two to kind of go on with natural. The skit maybe showing how in love she is with the guy. Then maybe a couple tracks down the road, by the time you get to You Can't Remember, you can see that doubt and you can have some dialogue with two characters in a skit. Then have another skit by, he found out he did something or just is just not working for them. Then you get to Too Many Strings and then kind of let everything flow. I really think some skits and interludes could have really helped this album even drive more home, even make it more personable, connectable. I think it just really could have helped listeners even grasp onto the story more. And also I think maybe another back and forth song could have helped like drive the story home too. An example that comes to mind is Toxic from the Summer Walker album, Still Over It, how she's kind of dealing with that back and forth, man, do I believe this nigga, do I not believe this nigga? My homegirl saying, I think a song like that, place in like the middle or right before, let's say, You Can't Remember or Too Many Strings, I think that really could have helped bring everything home again, along with the skits and the interludes that I think, like I said, would have got people more invested into this album. But all that to say, the songs in this album are really good. I know, don't let me all that like criticism kind of take away. The album is still really good. The songs itself, I mean, like I said, Too Many Strings is one of my favorites. Space and Pussy, I think, is definitely going to be a favorite. I like how on Space and Pussy the beat is kind of minimalist, so you can just really hear her voice and hear her lyrics and kind of just resonate with those lyrics. I love that on that song. And it's kind of like the beat itself is kind of happy, going to the theme of cutting ties, like, you're happy to have that freedom again. So I kind of like those little details and stuff about this project with the song and the production, how the production matches the theme of the album and the theme of the song itself. The album actually really reminded me of Jasmine Sullivan's album from a couple of years ago, Hotels, where it kind of has songs like Roster and stuff, Hurt Me So Good. It reminds me of that album. And in that album, if you remember, Jasmine had some skits and intermissions, like Ari's Tale, Issa's Tale, that kind of made for a smooth transition into the song and kind of help you flip the page into the next chapter of the book in which Jasmine was kind of right, if that makes sense. I think a project like this, again, I think that really could have helped drive the overall story home. But like I said, the songs themselves are really good. Don't let my words take that away from the songs themselves. They're all really strong in here. There isn't a really skippable on here for me, especially considering the album is so short. I mean, you can really play this through and then forget you're even done. Everything from the title track, like I said, Space and Pussy, The Truth, everything kind of hits it for me on an individual level. So overall, like I said, I really do like this project. I think it is a nice follow-up to Grudges, and kind of, if you want to wrap that whole Grudges and Cut Ties story together, I think it's a nice little story being painted here. I know personally, I can't wait to hear this album live. I can't wait till she announces tour dates, because I'm definitely trying to be up in there. You see, I already went once. I'm definitely going to go again. There's an amazing live performer, and the way she connects with the audience is so cool. You can really see how passionate it is, not only about music herself and making music, but about her music. And really, you can just feel the passion and the vulnerability when she performs live. It's really good. So if you can, definitely check her out live. Like I said, I'm definitely gonna try to be in there. Overall, that's gonna conclude episode 6 of Fermented Thoughts. Tell me what you think of Kiana Lede's album Cut Ties. Did you like it? Did it hit at the right time? Is this gonna be perfect for the winter for you? Let me know. Let's have a conversation. Like I said, I'm definitely gonna be replaying this again. I fuck with Kiana today. And yeah, can't wait to that tour, because that, like I said, that shit is gonna hit live. As always, of course, drink responsibly. Till another time, stay hydrated, stay moisturized. I'm out.